If you work with Adobe Experience Manager today, you have probably heard these two terms quite often: AEM on-premise and AEM as a cloud service. And many times, the difference is explained in a very simple way. People say on-premise runs on your server, cloud service runs on Adobe server. But the explanation actually misses the most interesting part, because the real change is not just where the AEM runs. The real change is how the entire platform architecture has been redesigned for the cloud. And interestingly, this shift changes everything: how the system scales, how deployment works, how developers interact with the platform, and even how the administrator access the system. Hi everyone, I am Satish Chaudhary, and on this channel, I like breaking down complex technology concepts in simple terms. In today's video, we are going to explore the architectural difference between AEM on-premise and AEM as a cloud service, not just from a product perspective, but from a system architecture perspective. What changed? Why did Adobe redesign part of the platform? And what does that matter for developers and architects working with AEM today? And towards the end of this video, I'll also explain one of the biggest surprises developers experience while moving to the AEM cloud service, and how system access itself is restricted. But to understand that, we first need to understand how AEM traditionally worked. For many years, Adobe Experience Manager was deployed in a very traditional way. Companies installed AEM on servers they owned. Sometimes the servers lived inside company's data center. Sometimes they were hosted on cloud virtual machines like AWS or Azure. But regardless of where they run, the responsibility for managing the platform belonged to the organization. The architecture usually looked something like this. At the front, you had dispatcher. Dispatcher is essentially an Apache model that acts as a cache and traffic controller. When the user requests a page, dispatcher first checks whether a cache version exists. If it does, the request is served immediately. If not, the request is forwarded to the published instance. The published instance then reads content from the repository, renders component using HTML, and generates the HTML response. Separately, you have the author environment. This is where editors create and manage content. When content is ready, it gets replicated from author to publish environment using replication agent. At the center of all it sits the JCR repository. The repository stores everything: pages, assets, configuration, permission, and workflow. Everything inside AEM is essentially stored as nodes within this repository. This architecture works extremely well for many years, but it also comes with a lot of cost. When companies run AEM themselves, they're not just running a CMS, they're running an entire platform. That means managing servers, load balancers, dispatcher configuration, repository growth, backups, security patches, monitoring, and scaling infrastructure. And when traffic increases, for example, during a big marketing campaign, team must manually add additional publish server. Then there are AEM upgrades. Upgrading AEM is not always trivial. It often involves testing code compatibility, updating dependencies, and ensuring that the custom components behave correctly in the new version. So while developers focus on building digital experience, DevOps teams spend a lot of time keeping the platform items run smoothly. And over time, the industry started asking a different question: what if developer did not need to manage the platform at all? To understand this shift more clearly, let's look at a very simple analogy. Imagine you want to open a restaurant. In the traditional model, you open your own restaurant building. You buy the building, you build the kitchen, you hire staff, you manage electricity, equipment, cleaning, and security. You control everything, but you're also responsible for running the entire operation. That's very similar to AEM on premise. You install AEM on your servers, you manage infrastructure, you configure dispatcher, you scale publish server, and you maintain the platform. Now imagine a very different model. Instead of building your own restaurant, you open a stall inside a large managed food court. The food court operates the food court operator manages the building, electricity, seating, cleaning, and security. You focus only on making great food. That is much closer to AEM as a cloud service. Adobe manages the infrastructure, Adobe manages scaling, Adobe manages update. Developers focus on building digital experience that rather than managing servers. Over the past decade, most enterprise software platforms have moved towards cloud native architecture. Instead of running software on fixed servers, platforms are designed to run on dynamic infrastructure. Infrastructure that can scale automatically. Infrastructure that can update itself. Infrastructure where servers are treated as temporary resource rather than permanent machines. This is the philosophy behind AEM as a cloud service. But Adobe did not simply take AEM and move it to cloud. They actually redesigned parts of the platform to work better in the cloud environment. Let's extend that analogy. Imagine your restaurant suddenly becomes very popular. Hundreds of customers arrive. If you own your own restaurant, you need to hire more chefs or expand the kitchen. That takes a lot of time. In a managed food court, the operator can quickly allocate more kitchen capacity. This is very similar to automatically scaling in AEM cloud service. When traffic increases, the platform automatically creates additional public instance. And when the traffic decreases, the instance disappear. The infrastructure dynamically adapts to the demand. In AEM Cloud Service, the infrastructure is fully managed by Adobe. Developers and content authors interact with the platform the same way they did before. But underneath the surface, the architecture behaves very differently. Traffic typically enters through a global CDN layer. The CDN distributes requests and catches content closer to the users around the world. Behind that sits the Adobe managed dispatcher layer. Just like before, dispatcher still provides catching and request routing, but now the infrastructure behind is dynamic. Instead of a fixed number of published servers, the published tier can scale automatically. When the traffic increases, additional published instances can be created automatically. And when the traffic drops, those instances can disappear. From an operational perspective, this is a huge difference because now the platform adapts to traffic automatically. Now, if you have worked with AEM before, you may have heard terms like TarMK or MongoMK. They're not just technical details, they describe how the entire repository stores and manages content. Most traditional AEM installations use TarMK. TarMK stores repository data as files on the disk. It is fast, reliable, and works extremely well when there is a one-to-one mapping, one author with one disk, right? But when organization wants to distribute the repository across multiple nodes, they often use MongoMK. MongoMK stores repository data inside a MongoDB database. This allows multiple AEM instances to share the same repository. However, it also introduces additional operation complexity. In AEM Cloud Service, Adobe redesigned part of this model so the large binary assets are now stored using cloud object storage. This means assets can scale independently from the repository. This becomes extremely important for organizations managing large digital asset library. Another major change in AEM Cloud Service is something called asset microservice. In the traditional AEM environment, asset processing happens inside the AEM instance. For example, when an image is uploaded, AEM generates thumbnails and renditions. This operation runs inside the same server responsible for authoring. If thousands of assets are uploaded simultaneously, that can slow down the system. In AEM Cloud Service, asset processing is handled independently by independent microservice. Assets are stored in cloud storage. Separate service generates the rendition process transformation. Because the services run independently, they can scale automatically. So if thousands of assets need processing, the system simply adds more processing powers. This keeps the core AEM component focused on content management, and the independent service can take care of any renditions and processing. One of the biggest architecture shift in AEM Cloud Service is the concept of immutable infrastructure. In a traditional environment, administrations could log into server and change configurations manually. In the cloud model, this approach is no longer allowed. Servers are treated as replaceable containers. You don't modify them, you replace them. All changes must be defined in code and deployed through the CI/CD pipeline. This ensures that environments remain consistent and reproducible. This idea of immutable infrastructure also changes how developers interact with the repository. If you have worked with AEM before, you have probably seen two important folders, slash libs and slash apps. The slash libs folder contained core platform code provided by Adobe. Developers should never modify anything inside this folder. Instead, customizations are implemented only in the slash apps folder. In the traditional AEM environment, administrators sometimes has direct access to servers and repository. But in cloud services, this is no longer possible. Even administrators cannot SSH into server or change system files. Everything must go through the code and deployment pipeline. This is great for control. Deployments also work very differently in AIM Cloud Service. In a traditional AIM environment, developers often deploy packages directly to servers. In the cloud model, deployment must go through the cloud manager or CI/CD pipeline. Developers pushes code to a Git repository. Cloud manager runs automated builds, does quality check, does security scans, and performs the test. If everything looks good, if everything passes, the code is then deployed automatically. This approach ensures consistent deployment and reduces manual error. Another interesting concept introduced in AEM Cloud Service is the preview environment. Traditionally, AEM environments included author and publish. In Cloud Service, Adobe added a preview tier. This allows team to test content exactly as it will appear on the live site before publishing it publicly. Another major benefit of the cloud architecture is a zero downtime deployment. In the traditional environment, deployments often required restarting services. In AEM Cloud Service, deployments happen using rolling updates. New versions are deployed alongside the existing ones. Traffic gradually shifts to the new version. This allows updates to happen without interrupting the live site. For developers, moving to AEM Cloud Service requires a small mindset shift. Instead of managing servers, developers focus on writing scalable code. Instead of manual deployments, everything goes through automated pipelines. Instead of modifying infrastructure directly, configuration must be defined as a code. And finally, this aligns AEM development with modern cloud native architecture patterns. Adobe Experience Manager has evolved significantly over the years. What began as a traditional enterprise CMS has now become a cloud native digital experience platform. Understanding the difference between AEM on-premise and AEM as a cloud service is important not just for developers but also for architects designing modern digital platforms. Because the shift is not just about moving servers to the cloud, it represents a fundamental change in how the platform is built, deployed, and scaled. If you enjoy exploring complex technology concepts explained in simple terms, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next episode. Till then, take care and keep well.